So my question to you, Augusto, is what do you think that PT can bring, Portugal can bring to the table, and what can be done by Portugal regarding international procedures to facilitate these investments, which no one doubts are crucial for the future of Europe, and especially for the next 10 years, matching the digital decade communication that the Commission proposed. Augusto, please.
Well, thank you, Philip. It's nice to see you, even remotely. Thank you all for being here. It's very special for me to be here. It's clearly a theme that it's very precious for us, I think, in nation terms and in European terms. And, well, I have prepared a small presentation. Maybe I will pass through it, and I think through it as well, I will respond to Philip's question. But before, I would like to thank you all for being here presentially, which I know it's extra effort these days, but also remotely. And again, just to say that this is possible because we are using infrastructure that is in place, and without it, we would not be having this configuration of conference that we are having now. Undoubtedly, we consider that the physical infrastructure being 98% of the capacity that data is using to travel around the world is a question of sovereignty. We also think that Portugal is especially well prepared to play a relevant role in this new strategy. And I would just start to say that I don't think it's by accident that when we talk about submarine cables and international connectivity, we are sitting in a room that is called Vasco da Gama. And he was the first one actually sailing through sea and creating a route of, in that time, spices that provide richness and contact with other, not only cultures, but markets. And he was born in this city, Sines, where we are in. So it's very relevant that we are having this conference here, basically because these days, the thing is not about spices anymore, it's about data. And this point where we are, it still is a very strategical and geostrategical point and very able point to receive all these new connection points. When we see the capacity that we will need in next years to support all that is coming in terms of digital markets, we understand that we are very far from reaching the capacity that we will need in the next 5 years, and for sure in the next 10 to 20 years. So basically, we will have to create that capacity. We will have also to renew the existing capacity and old cables. We have to rethink the ways that this data is entering and getting out of Europe, and the way we are connecting with these new markets. And maybe we have to rethink the concentration of routes in UK. Maybe we have to rethink how dense it is right now, Marseille. So there is a lot of things to be questioned and to be addressed for the right way to implement this strategy. But it's not only about what is needed, is how is these needs being addressed and achieved. So basically, I ran a very simple question over Google, and I asked who is owning the main investments in terms of cable implementation in our oceans. And basically, those numbers appeared. So we see Google, Facebook, Amazon, and Microsoft. Of course, these are not the only players, and maybe in several areas not the main players, but this shows us that all this capacity is being supported mostly by private initiative, which is okay. The thing is, as we know, the private initiative doesn't have always the same orientation as we have to have as Europeans or as Portuguese. So basically, what we think is if we want to assure that we owe the infrastructure and we have some governance about what's in that infrastructure, definitely we should aim to invest in a different way in this, for instance, connectivity strategy, specifically the submarine cable strategy. When we look to the sovereignty aspect, and when we clearly say that these connections are critical, the question we posed is, are we giving the same relevance to secure these infrastructures as we are doing it, to grant the same security in the land infrastructures? So basically, these infrastructures being so critical, they need to be protected, not only in geopolitically and geostrategical terms, but also in terms of physical security. And this is each time a more relevant aspect. There are many animals in the sea, some more dangerous than others. But we also consider that Portugal and in our economical zone are very well prepared and very well positioned to well protect these infrastructures. We are not only, as we say, the sea, because we have this saying, Portugal is the sea. We are also, and not only 3 billion miles of it, but we are also the same amount of sky, and we are also the best European geostrategical cable landing and data entry point. We are a connection point in the middle of the Atlantic with the connection of a new CAM ring that is coming up. And we have a platform for satellite launching and a very interesting satellite coverage situation. We are having a very good and high-capacity secure land connectivity. We have a privileged position to secure submarine cables, like I was saying before. We have this entire platform where it's possible to build sensors towards the middle of the Atlantic, and for sure, doing that, we can grow better eyes and better ears about what's happening there, not only for environmental purposes, but also for security purposes. We have a vibrant research and academy platform in Portugal, and I think we have one of the best places where digital nomads and people connected to technology can live in. So I would say that we have a clear Atlantic vocation and natural vocation to connect land, air, sea, and people. And to answer, as now in the shoes of a regulator, to answer Philippe, I think we all have to provide fair but easier ways to support all the initiatives to implement this strategy. This means also to facilitate whatever we can in administrative terms, simplify the licensing processes, and create the conditions to attract to Europe not only this data, but all these markets we can reach through these submarine cables. And that would be my presentation. And of course, I will be available for you for any questions later on.